It's a major breakthrough in the 14,000 crore rupee PNB scam case. Mehul Choksi, one of India's most wanted economic fugitives, has been arrested in Belgium. Choksi was arrested from his residence in Antwerp on Saturday, that is the 12th of April. As per sources, Indian agencies got inputs about Choksi's plan to flee to Switzerland from Belgium, and so they moved soon. Two diplomats, two officers from an Indian agency were present when Choksi was arrested, we are told. Currently, Mehul Choksi is lodged in a Belgian jail, and as per local laws, there's no immediate provision for bail. Sources say a joint team of ED and CBI will be present when Mehul Choksi's bail comes up for hearing. Sources say that Indian authorities have begun tracking Choksi as early as January 2024 after learning that he had left Antigua under the pretext of undergoing cancer treatment. The road ahead may not be that easy. India has no extradition treaty with Belgium, but under international criminal cooperation frameworks, India can still push for his repatriation based on bilateral legal assistance and mutual trust. Sources say that this could be India's best shot yet at bringing back a man who's dodged justice all these years. Also remember that Choksi has been detained by authorities in Belgium, even though there is no active red corner notice against him. But some in the opposition are already dismissing Choksi's arrest. They feel it's an attempt by the government to distract from real issues.
ये नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में जो सरकार चल रही है, उनकी जो सफल कूटनीति है और सफल कूटनीति के कारण ही ये संभव हो पा रहा है.
The fact that he's been arrested shows that the Indian agencies had been pursuing it and did not let go of the pressure. Law will pursue them, as Prime Minister Modi's government has done till the very end.
देखिए, ये सरकार की सब जानकारी में था. सरकार समय समय पर ऐसे काम करेगी जिससे तमाम बुनियादी सवालों पर चर्चा न हो.
जस्टिस डिलेड इज जस्टिस डिनाइड. किसी भी फाइनेंशियल फ्रॉड में पहले जो गरीब है, जो टैक्स पेयर्स है, जो ईमानदार है, उनके पैसे पहले वापस करने चाहिए. फिर उसके बाद आपको जो मेहुल चोकसी के साथ करना है वो सरकार करे.
What about Vijay Mallya? When is he going to come back? And also, I think the Prime Minister, I remember promising that we're going to get back the black money. What really happened to that?
But the roadmap is not going to be that easy. There are several challenges that the government of India faces. In fact, there's a twofold defense on the part of Choksi, firstly, on medical as well as political grounds that he's likely to take. The second big challenge is that the decision on extradition lies completely with the Belgian government. And of course, that's yet to come out in the open. The third challenge is that Choksi can appeal in a Belgian court against the extradition. Of course, the fourth challenge in this matter is that the declaration of the fugitive status is pending in a Mumbai court currently. There's also the fifth challenge where Interpol's red corner notice was withdrawn in the year 2023. The UK verdict against Sanjay Bhandari extradition might add as far as the case is concerned if that is cited there as well. So this is, of course, some of the hurdles. Of course, the larger question of extradition laws being more liberal in the EU rather than in the United States, for instance, where India has been extremely successful with Tahawwur Rana, is also another point of challenge, really, as far as the government of India is concerned. Let's quickly open this up for our guests now.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Sanju Verma, Tehseen Poonawala continue from debate number 1. Joining us now is Emmanuel Ruchard, partner of the Lexial law firm in Brussels. Also with us is Vaibhav Khurania, one of the complainants in the fraud case against Choksi. But I want to go first and foremost to Mr. Karnal Singh, former director of the Enforcement Directorate. Mr. Karnal Singh, no doubt this is, of course, a huge victory as far as our agencies are concerned. They've been pursuing this matter, and it's also a diplomatic victory to that extent that Brussels has gone ahead and arrested Mehul Choksi. But the kind of situation that we're in, with various arguments, legal, medical, that Choksi is likely to take in the court, how realistically are our chances in terms of bringing Mehul Choksi back to India? Mr. Karnal Singh.
I feel there are very good chances. See, number one is the extradition is two-step process. The first step is our extradition request is examined by the administration of that country. Administration, I mean executive as well as political. And only thereafter they start acting. In this case, the Belgian government has caused the arrest of Mehul Choksi. That indicates the first step has been taken by the Belgian government. The second step will be certainly a judicial process, where the case will be fought by the Belgian government itself on behalf for Indian government. And the Indian prosecutor would be helping the advocates appointed by the Belgian government. So first hurdle is over. I can discuss the hurdles which you have raised. For example, Sanjay Bhandari case. Now, alternatively, there is a case of Vijay Mallya,
Right.
wherein the same issues were raised about human rights conditions in the Indian prisons. And where we presented the photographs and videographs of the prison in Mumbai where Vijay Mallya was to be kept, and the UK court was satisfied with that. And therefore, the UK court and the highest court issued direction for extradition of Vijay Mallya.
Right.
So
Right.
there are issues. Certainly, the advocates of Mehul Choksi will try their best. But Indian agencies are also prepared. They have evidences.
Okay.
They have proof with them, which they can produce in the court in Belgium.
All right. So please stay with us because we have other panelists as well. I want to bring in the lawyer from Brussels, Emmanuel Rocha, who's with us. Emmanuel, do you agree with that perception that, given the fact that in other jurisdictions as well, there has been success, says the former director of the Enforcement Directorate, one of the agencies that in fact is involved in this case. But what are the chances of Mehul Choksi being extradited in your view? Emmanuel.
Well, I'm not talking in terms of chances. What I can say is that for sure, Belgian proceedings will be extremely attentive to a number of things before proceeding to extradition. You mentioned the health situation of this person, which seems to me extremely important and serious. A cancer, if I understand. What is absolutely critical will be an analysis of his chances to be judged in India according to our standards and rules of rights of defense. And things according to this kind of consideration, like, for example, was there any proceeding default in India before asking for extradition? So you have a series of arguments which are possible in order to prevent this extradition, in particular in the situation of this person. And I would like to remember also that the proceedings are in several steps. So first, the investigation court will control the detention. Then it will be up to a kind of appeal court, which, if you will, to control the extradition. And it is open to Supreme Court and also even to European Court of Human Rights to decide if we have to send this person back to India.
All right. I mean, you're so essentially saying that there's a long legal process, judicial process that is to be followed. But let me bring in Tehseen Poonawalla. Tehseen Poonawalla, at the end of the day, the fact is that Choksi has been arrested. The fact is that the Antwerp police authorities, who Times Now has written to, have told us that the arrest was made because of the extradition request. At whatever level you look at it, this is a victory, even if it's a small one.
Thank you, Madhav. And at the onset, thank you to Colonel Singh Saab, the ex-ED director, one of the fair ED directors that we've had in our nation. I think there are two aspects to this. Yes, to that extent, we've had that the investigating agencies in India tracked him down. He moved from Antigua to his wife is a citizen of Belgium. He moved there. We tracked him down. We knew where he was. And to that extent, because of the extradition treaty, actually India and Belgium do have one, which was ratified in 2020. We've been able to put him in jail. But this is where the problem comes in. Like Nirav Modi was arrested in 2019 and Vijay Mallya, the process is going to be long and tiring, as the Belgium guest has just told us. That's point number one. The success of Rana, which I give to this present government, also is because Rana was a Canadian Pakistani, not an American citizen. In Belgium's case, Mr. Mehul Choksi is not a Belgian citizen. His wife is. He's only a residency. He's got the F-type residency out there. But he does have the legal process right up to their Supreme Court and their Human Rights Court. So this is going to be a long process. I think the key will be to convince the courts out there that human rights of his will be protected in India. Because remember, in 2023, the Interpol notice was withdrawn against him on the grounds of human rights protection. So that will be the key for this government. The first step is done, but there's a long process. And as Robert Vadra said, ultimately the money has to be recovered and given back to the taxpayer. Because Mehul Bhai Choksi, very close to this government, he was addressed by Mehul Bhai, by the top leaders of this government. Ultimately, that money has to come back to the last man standing. That is the key.
Okay, Sanju Verma, respond to that. Ultimately, the money has to come back. There's a history of Mehul Choksi. He was believed to be close to several top leaders in this government. And also the larger question about the handling of this case, because a red corner notice was withdrawn a few years ago, ostensibly on grounds that Tehseen was mentioning, to ensure that his human rights are not violated. So there's a lot that the agencies will have to do in the Belgian courts to, prove before he is actually extradited back to India. Sanju Verma.
Madhav, first and foremost, let's get one thing very clear. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's willpower, conviction and determination ensured that Tahawwur Rana was extradited to India. And let me tell you, Mehul Choksi beat Sanjay Bhandari, Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi, or for that matter, Anmol Bishnoi, Goldie Brar. एक के बाद एक सबको घसीटकर भारत लाया जाएगा. Second point, is extradition a tedious process? Yes. But where I differ with the Belgian guest is that while the Interpol revoked the red corner notice against Mehul Choksi in 2022 on grounds of flight risk and poor health, please understand, despite the revocation of the red corner notice in less than 3 years, Belgian government has arrested him. That should tell you a lot. And as the former ED on your show rightly said, the big battle is won. The arrest has happened. Now it is not India. It is the Belgian government which will fight on India's behalf in Belgian courts to ensure that Mehul Choksi is brought back. And the third and very important point is this, that Mehul Choksi is already an accused under the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act of 2018. And I think if there is one act apart from the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act of 2018, it is the Benami Transactions Act of 2016. Both of these have ensured that 2.25 lakh crore of Benami property and black money assets have been brought back to India from overseas. More than 4,600 entities have had their assets attached. This should be a stinging rebuttal to those who say, "अरे मोदी सरकार ने कहा था, पर काला धन तो आया नहीं वापस." 2.5 लाख करोड़ के आसपास का काला धन ऑलरेडी वापस लाया गया है और ये तो अभी सिर्फ शुरुआत है, पिक्चर अभी बाकी है. Madhav, and my final point is only this. I remember in 2020, Madhav, when the Yes Bank crisis happened, everybody and everybody's uncle said, the CMD, Rana Kapoor, is such a big guy. And by the way, Rana Kapoor was forced to buy a 2 crore painting from Priyanka Vadra. But be that as it may, Rana Kapoor को कोई arrest नहीं करेगा. Rana Kapoor spent 4 years in Taloja jail for defrauding Indian taxpayers. Had it been Rahul Gandhi in power, तो प्रियंका वाड्रा और राहुल गांधी राणा कपूर को कहते हैं हमसे 4 करोड़ की पेंटिंग्स और खरीद लीजिए. We will also give you a Padma Bhushan. सब चंगा है. So Tehseen is the last person who should be lecturing on integrity and probity to the Modi government. We will do what needs to be done to ensure accountability and that every single penny.
Okay, quick response from Tehseen. Tehseen, quick response. Our track record is far better than yours when it comes down to cracking down on those who are high-profile offenders, particularly those who are fugitive offenders. And it is a fact. It is a fact that when Tahawwur Rana was extradited last week, one of the responses coming in from several opposition leaders was, what about Mehul Choksi? What about Vijay Mallya? What about Nirav Modi? At least as far as Mehul Choksi is concerned, the case has moved forward.
Yes, there is no doubt about it that the case has moved forward. As far as the Rana extradition was concerned, I have congratulated the Honorable Prime Minister. He's responsible for that. But this is a long battle ahead. Now, anything you ask the BJP They will go on to another issue. Rana Kapoor defrauded people after demonetization because Priyanka Gandhi sold him a painting in 2008. Madam, logic and BJP don't go together. They are two polar opposites that try to make it go together. The question before the people of India is simply this. Sanjuji, please. The question before the people of India simply is this. Two. Yes, today, because there is he's been arrested, kudos to our agency. Will the willpower to bring him back continue? Because remember, Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi are still not back. That's point number one, who are economic offenders. Number one, terrorism and economic offences. Convincing them are two separate issues. Number two, remember, Mehul Choksi and Nirav Bhai Modi, language used by top BJP leaders, were close in cahoots with BJP.
All right. Sanju Verma, he was responding to your point, but yeah, quick rebuttal, and then I go across to the person who's a whistleblower in this case, Vaibhav Khurania. Yes.
So what? Even I will call Mehul Choksi, Mehul Bhai Choksi. That does not mean कि वो मेरा दोस्त है. I will call Nirav Modi, Nirav Bhai Modi. That does not mean that I endorse Nirav Modi. But Madhav, the beauty of this entire debate is that it exposes hypocrisy of Congress darbaris. Do you know something? Who was actually fighting on Nirav Modi's behalf in London? It was a man called Abhay Thipse, a man who was earlier the judge at Bombay High Court. And in 2018, Rahul Gandhi ki presence mein, Abhay Thipse became a bona fide congressman. So
all right. I'm not going to go down, the politics apart. Politics apart, there will obviously be politics. These are politically sensitive cases, but let me bring in Vaibhav Khurania. Vaibhav, you're somebody who was associated, you're one of those who had complained in the fraud case against Choksi. When this kind of news comes out that he has been arrested, there's a glimmer of hope, and perhaps a strong one, as Mr. Karnail Singh is saying, that he might actually see justice here in India. This could be the beginning in a long series of events and legal cases. But as somebody who has been a complainant in the case, your response to the events that have taken place in Belgium?
See, I don't doubt the government. That government is pursuing this case diligently and regularly since past many years. It's just like no one questions judiciary. I think the responsibility of him coming back lies on the Belgian judiciary, and I think there are loopholes in every form of judiciary in every country that people like Mehul Choksi can take advantage of. And that's what similar case happened in India. I suppose we had filed more than 100 complaints against Choksi in various courts across India. And we filed exclusive applications in Mumbai High Court to revoke Mehul Choksi's passport. Even considering all the evidences and all the complaints to various agencies, the judiciary let him free. And judiciary never ever revoked his passport, nor they take any action against Choksi, and that's why he escaped the country.
Okay, let me quickly bring in Mr. Karnail Singh on that. Mr. Karnail Singh, this issue of revoking the passport becomes extremely controversial. Of course, if someone's a flight risk, that's another situation. But in today's context, where, he has changed his citizenship to Antiguan, how does that complicate matters? Two questions for you there. One, at the level of courts not acting on these requests, as one of the complainants is saying. And also, of course, now what are the implications when we are at this stage of extradition?
See, number one is about the cases in the courts. I do not know the status of those cases and types of complaints, so I will not be able to comment. We actually, as far as CBI and Enforcement Directorate are concerned, we got a complaint from the bank itself, Punjab National Bank, because when the officer who was posted in that particular branch, who was helping Mehul Choksi and Nirav Modi in issuing the letter of understanding and foreign letter of credit, not putting them into the core banking system so that it remains undetected. When he was transferred and the new officer was posted, that officer detected and he complained to the bank senior authority, who made complaint to the government. Now coming to the extradition request by India, certainly there would be hurdles because Mehul Choksi will put all his efforts not to come to India. And our agencies and the government will put all the efforts to bring him to India. We have been successful. People are talking about Vijay Mallya. We had the judiciary, highest court of UK has approved the extradition of Vijay Mallya. There are certain hitch because Home Secretary is not signing. That reason is totally not known to everybody. The Nirav Modi is in the jail for a long period in the UK. So even the fugitive economic offenders, we are successful in getting the extradition request accepted by those countries.
All right.
As far as this issue is raised that he has not been declared fugitive economic offender, it will make no impact in the extradition request, because fugitive economic offender is our internal process where we can attach all
it's an Indian law. Yes. So I'm sorry I'm interrupting you, but we're out of time. Sanju Verma, Tehseen Poonawala, Karnal Singh, Vaibhav Khurania and Emmanuel Ruchard, all eyes on whether India will be successful, all eyes on Antwerp and what decision is finally taken over there as far as this particular case is concerned. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. We'll have to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us on the News Hour agenda this evening.